Which highly anticipated 2020 release will not live up to the hype?
Interesting question.
See if they actually get released.
So I went from an Oscars perspective, and I did Don't Look Up.
Matrix 4.
He is the Matrix 4, the anticipated or maybe not anticipated sequel. But
is that coming out? Is that coming out in 2021?
Officially it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be December. I think 16th December.
Yeah, it's like a
15th.
Christmas release.
James Bond, No Time to Die.
I haven't gotten to the Craig movies yet, so.
Because I also picked Matrix 4.
Matrix 4.
Okay.
All right.
There are two areas where the hype for the Matrix 4 is coming from. One is the first Matrix, like not the very first Matrix, which was made over 20 years ago. And number two is Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves, I mean, God bless him. God bless him. He's amazing. But it doesn't mean that every Keanu Reeves movie is going to be a hit. I mean, look at that movie Replicants that came out 2 years ago. Yeah, no, sir. But, I mean, a lot of the hype for Matrix 4 is coming from Keanu Reeves. And obviously for a franchise that is now basically the sequels, in my opinion, have basically kind of confirmed that it should be dead and should be buried, not touched, because the sequel's just so garbage. So there are good moments in the second one, but the third one really kind of ruined it for me. And again, we're talking about a movie that was so revolutionary that happened over 20 years ago, and so much time has passed. And a lot of the stuff in the original Matrix has been done since then. So I'm not sure what they can capitalize off of in the fourth one.
For me, it comes with like when you're casting like Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves at 50 plus years fucking old to do what and all this fucking shit. I just can't see Keanu Reeves. Bless him, yeah. I do love him. He's a great action hero. He doesn't age a fucking day. He still looks like he's 15, but he's not a great actor. I'm not gonna lie. And if you're telling me now Keanu Reeves is a great fucking actor, you're lying. It's outdated now. I don't know why they left it so long. Like, why leave it 20 years for whatever reason? I do not understand, because the story, when they told it originally, it was fucking groundbreaking. Everything about the first Matrix was just groundbreaking, from its CGI to its action set pieces. It was just incredible. And now to try and replicate what they did all that time ago, I just think is absolutely fucking bonkers, mate.
Hugo Weaving, who's such a big part of the original trilogy, especially the first one, is not coming back for Matrix 4. And he's like one of the best movie villains of all time, and he's not returning.
Everyone wants to see it, but everyone is expecting it to be crap, because the second one was not good. The second one wasn't good. The third one was even worse. It's been so long, and everyone wants to see it because it is the Matrix, but there is not one person that is saying, oh my God, this is gonna revolutionize like the original did. My problem with James Bond is it's been in production for so long. It's just been growing and growing the hype. It's a movie that's 163 minutes. It's going to be like gigantic, and people like, it's not going to live up to it. And the other thing is like the director, Cary Joji, oh my God, I don't know. Like, the thing is, he doesn't have any track record on doing a big action movie. And the thing that people are expecting from James Bond is exactly that. People are expecting it to be an amazing action movie. We talk about Daniel Craig, that has to do the action, make it look believable. At the age that he is now, it's very hard to do that.
Yeah, just to jump off before I get into mine, to jump off on YOLO, I had no idea Matrix 4 was coming out this year. I thought it was 2022. And that's because there's just like no hype surrounding it. I mean, maybe from people who really, really love the original, but as Alex said, the Wachowskis have had a terrible track record. They're considered terrible directors. Yeah. There's as much hype surrounding this movie as like the next Tim Burton movie.
Go on websites. It's up there in websites for 2021 releases. Most anticipated, Matrix is in there. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot more than Don't Look Up. It's a lot more than Don't Look Up. Don't compare it's a lot more than Don't Look Up, so don't even.
Second of all, I've also got quite not a massive reach on my Instagram, but a decent amount, and I've done polls about Matrix, 4, and I've had a lot, easily few hundreds, close to 1,000 over the few polls I've done, saying they are really hyped for Matrix 4.
But what I'll say about Don't Look Up is that maybe from like a blockbuster standpoint, from like the masses, it doesn't have as much hype surrounding it. But I'm very much in the Oscar scene, and like in terms of Oscars, this is making everyone's list for Best Picture predictions. Everyone is predicting this, and that's because you've got Adam McKay, you've got Leonardo DiCaprio in his first role after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You have Timothy Chalamet, Meryl Streep, Jennifer Lawrence in her first performance in a long time. Film Twitter is hyping this thing up like crazy. What I'll say quickly about No Time to Die is that you can say the same thing, because you said Cary Fukunaga hasn't had really any experience when it comes to action. You could say the same thing about Sam Mendes before he did Skyfall. He had Road to Perdition, but that's not really an action movie. And then Cary Fukunaga was also kind of involved in It, which is a franchise film, which is a big blockbuster. You could see him take that experience and apply it to No Time to Die. And he's going to really get the characters down really well, too.
Yeah, but if
and
you
then
look...
also you have Maniac and True Detective. And I also want to say one thing. You were complaining about Daniel Craig being too old at 53. Tom Cruise is 58, and you're not complaining about him in the Mission Impossible movies. So don't come at me with this age.
Look,
like, you can't do that. And then I'm not done. And then also the Matrix movie. The third one made $741 million, which is over $300 million more than the first two. So clearly there were more people who loved The Matrix even after the two terrible sequels than after the first one came out.
Look, 100%. Look how popular The Matrix is.
Especially for people who grew up in the 90s.
It is one of the most hyped about films across casual moviegoers. Like my mum, for example, my nan, like people like this, they know about The Matrix. They're even fucking talking to me. My mum was like, Matrix 4 comes out this year, doesn't it? So I'm looking forward to that, seeing Keanu back in that again.
Let's take a look.
You're right, mum.
If you're talking about the box office, let's look at Transformers. Like the second one did more money than the first. The third one did more money, and then he got to a point it just went down.
But then Transformers didn't start off with Matrix 1, did they?
Let me finish. Then it just went downhill until he made no money. Okay, so that's the thing. You're saying, oh, he did more money, but people just really trashed the movie. So now when are you trying
to compare Transformers 1 to Matrix 1?
When the fourth comes out,
I'm not sure that's a fair comparison, but okay.
Okay, we're talking about box office. You talked about box office and they made more money. The movie made more money. The critics and people completely bash it. So when a fourth comes out, and this is like a fourth, like let's compare it with Avatar, it's going to come out so much time after, people are just going to be disappointed.
Keanu right now is a hot commodity, and people are really excited about John Wick, the new John Wick movie. So it's kind of, I think that's kind of fueling any hype surrounding The Matrix. I don't think anyone's really excited.
I mean, people are excited enough for Keanu in order to. I feel like that says a lot about our point, because we also illustrated the fact that people are seeing this movie for Keanu, and for good reason. To address your point with Don't Look Up, even people in Oscar circles, like nobody's expecting, like it might be a movie that gets nominated for a lot, but what Oscar are people really expecting it to? Are people really expecting? Oh, Leo, second Oscar here, Meryl Streep? No. Nobody's expecting that.
Timothy.
And the thing is, being a Netflix.
Nobody. People are talking about Timothy Chalamet and Dune. Nobody's talking about him in Don't Look Up because the cat. So don't come at me with Timothy Chalamet.
I don't really hear
And the other thing is a Netflix movie, and even if we don't want to, that Netflix brand is not going to be something that people straight away think, oh, it's going to win all the Oscars easily.